Okay, what I want to do, besides say, we are back. Of course we are back. You see us. Oh gosh. I want to have a moment of silence for the passing away of a country western legend. I believe Mr. George Jones died very recently.
Like yesterday.
And what was the song that put him over the top?
I believe it was White Lightning.
Was White Lightning.
I think.
And that other song you were singing is pretty famous from him too.
That's He Stopped Loving Her Today.
Let's hear a little bit of it.
He stopped loving her today. They placed the wreath upon his door, and soon they'll carry him away. He stopped loving her today.
Okay.
That's my best George Jones.
Yeah, he, Dr. Bill sings. He used to sing doo-wop. He likes folk music, you know, like from the, what is it, back in the
60s.
Back in the 60s, the Flower Children. You know, that's what he likes.
He's a countryman.
Okay, a moment of silence for the passing away,
George Jones.
the death of George Jones. George Jones. Okay. Let me salute George Jones with my lucky blackthorn shillelagh. Rest in peace, George Jones.
Probably YouTube was very busy yesterday.
In what respect?
People listening to George Jones.
You could find just about everything and anything on YouTube. And if you find the original songs, you can with free programs. Hold on.
Yeah.
You can download it and convert it to an MP3, which I'm sure makes the music industry very happy to hear.
Well, you know, if you don't, you know, it's really strange. In the old days, you got your song played on the radio. People go out and they buy the song. 45, 33 and a third, 78.
You're talking about back in the day when they when they had vinyl albums.
Yeah, vinyl album.
Vinyl.
Yeah. Today, they don't want you to hear the song before you can buy it. Before you want to buy it. How the hell do you know you want to buy it if you can't hear the song?
Well, that's what the top 40 on the radio was all about, right?
Yeah, well, where's the radio today? What, are they going to play the song on the internet and then you're not going to be able to download it or buy it if you want to buy it? Maybe you just want to download it or hear it 3 times. Then you don't want to buy it.
Well, that's what YouTube is for.
Well, you're not stealing it then, are you? Because those who want to buy it are still going to buy it.
Hey, if you don't want people to download the original studio song and utilize it for personal use and get it for free, if you don't want that, don't go after the people that are downloading it. Go after the companies that are making this free or software you have to pay for. Go after the software manufacturers for...
Yeah, but the point is, it's the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Every hour they'll play the song. So if you want to hear the song 4 times, you listen to the radio on the station for 4 hours, and you'll be able to hear it 4 times. Maybe you'll go out and buy it. Maybe you won't.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the internet. You're going to prevent somebody from downloading the song so that they can hear it and maybe buy it. Just because somebody might just download the song and not buy it. What the hell sense does that make?
You're right. You're
But that's
absolutely
obviously what the big companies want to do. They want to prevent you from hearing it. You know?
Well, it's like telling somebody you can't try your pair. You can't try the shoes on or the
Before
boots
you buy them.
or the boots. You have to buy it and cross your fingers and hope they fit.
And too bad if they don't fit. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, would you like me to bring you your green tea, or would you like me to leave it there for when you take your supplements?
Probably, because I have to drain the tea bag, squeeze it,
Okay.
and
Okay.
put it on my nose.
And why is that?
Because tea is an astringent. And you know how at night you may form a crust around your schnozola?
It's a good thing I'm not eating. What about the corners of your eyes?
That too. You can put the tea bags on your eyes.
No, I'm saying,
Very good treatment.
there's
for your
mucus, the little crusty crud that appears in the corners of
eyes. You
your
know how they
eyes.
put cucumbers on your eyes? Well, you put the tea bags on
I
your
love
eyes.
cucumbers. I would never waste a cucumber on my eyes.
Well, they do it.
I think they're just great.
You would be fine in highbrow England with their cucumber sandwiches. They're cute little cucumber sandwiches.
That's it. No protein. Where do they get their protein from?
From the bread.
Uh,
And you must cut the crust off, too.
Oh, there must be soy mixed in with the bread. Oh, by the way, speaking of soy, a little health talk here. Even though Saturday is when you can hear holistic health talk on our internet talk radio station. All the articles you see about soy being dangerous for your health, it only applies to soy that is not fermented. The soy that is fermented, apparently soy has some unhealthful, harmful properties when eaten, when consumed raw or even cooked. But once soybean is fermented, like in making miso, tofu, tempeh, things of that nature, any fermented soybean paste, it is totally the opposite. It is extremely healthful, medicinal, contains probiotics and all the other great things that are inherent in soy. So, something to remember, something to think about when you read about, how bad soy is for your health. So, it only applies to the unfermented soy. I want to do a quick little promo. See this gentleman right here? This is a self-portrait of the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. It is a watercolor painting because the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman is a fine watercolor artist. You can see the William J. Eisenman collection on Tumblr, which is, the link is William J. Eisenman Collection, all one word. No spaces, no periods, no hyphens, no slashes. William J. Eisenman Collection.tumblr.com, and Tumblr is TUMBLR, right? Tumblr. That's like when Captain Lou Albano used to say Mother's Day, M-U-T-R.
And M-U-D-D-E-R. Mother's Day.
Mutter?
Mother's
That
Day.
applies to horses, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
He's a mutter. He's a fodder. But anyway, if you see something you like, go to newslettercensored.com, send Dr. Bill an email, and he might just have the painting available, signed by William J. Eisenman himself. Watercolor painting. He has a few gouache, but he decided that gouache is not for him. And he's back to what he loves best, watercolors. If you're wondering how do you join our organization, how can you be a part of our entire organization? Well, this is the very backbone of our organization. This is how you join us. You go to newslettercensored.com and you get your free annual subscription to Newsletters Censored, founded in 1977 by the Reverend Dr. William J. Eisenman. Get your subscription now. That's how you join us. Just go to newslettercensored.com and get your free annual subscription with your gift to support this work. And there's nothing like Newsletter Censored out there. Nothing in the universe like it. It is hard-hitting truth that you've never heard before. You don't hear this type of hard-hitting truth, not even on MSNBC. So, get it now. Newsletter Censored. You need Newsletter Censored in the end times. We are living in the end times, and Newsletter Censored will teach you how to defeat a conservative and also show you what the Bible really has to say, not what right-wing, zealot, fundamentalist, counterfeit Christian, cultist, religious nuts tell you what the Bible says, but what is really in the Bible and the truth about our political system today in the United States and possibly the whole entire world, and how it all ties into human nature and prophecy. So get it now. Just go to newslettercensored.com. I heard that ominous voice on the voicemail today. Every time I get up on a Saturday before I come here to do progressive discussions, I hear this sound coming from the elitists, the 1%, the secret societies, or whatever you want to call them. It's an ominous sound. Ominous? Ominous. It's an ominous sound. And it sounds like this. We are here to kill you. 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 It sounds like we are here to kill you. The culling of the herd. Think about it. They want to enslave you. They want to sneak a chip into your body so they can track your every move, everything you do, and they want you to work for slave wages, no benefits, and then eventually become slaves. Gee, where on earth will these 1% fat cat corporatists, where would they get their consumers from to buy their products if everybody is like destitute in the United States and doesn't have any surplus cash? Interesting.
Well, 30% of us do have excess cash.
30%?
Yeah.
Is that enough consumers to
No.
keep them afloat?
Not the economy, no. That's why we're suffering right now.
You know why I think there's a lot of yellow jackets buzzing behind me? I think it's our cologne that we're wearing.
It's the light.
You think it's the light?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It's the light. They go to the light.
All right, a little medley for the recent passing of George Jones, country western
Icon.
to George Jones. All right, let us continue sinking our teeth back into these readings, Dr. Bill. Oh, Yeah, I am sure the pollen count will be very high this spring. Oh, excuse me.
I was disappointed
You were?
that the article did not state the major reason for the United States Postal Service's financial woes. It isn't the internet or UPS. It's the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of 2006.
I think their woes did not just happen out of nowhere. I think
It was woed by Congress.
it was sabotaged. A
Sabotuggi.
little sabotuggi by the Republican Congress.
Correct.
Just like they're trying to sabotuggi Social Security and everything else, any other government program.
Under the PAEA, the United States Postal Service is required to make $103.7 billion in payments by 2016 to fund held by Congress that will pay for future health benefits of retirees in the next 75 years. This pre-funding mandate covers not only current employees who will retire in the future, but employees yet to be hired. On top of that, none of the money in this fund can be used to pay health benefits of current retirees. No other government agency or private corporation is required to do this. If any of the major delivery services had to comply with these foolish regulations, they too would be in debt and looking to cut service. Congress wants public entities and social programs like Social Security to fail.
Yeah, they want a built-in self-destructive sabotaging mechanism to
So it can privatize them.
yeah, because the right wing wants to privatize absolutely everything and shrink government down to next to nothing, except the military.
Which, by the way, cannot account for, loses, whatever, 25% of its moolah every year.
And all this is done, in my opinion, based on political corruption on the part of the Republican conservatives.
They want to privatize them and present them to their corporate donors as gifts. Such goals motivate the current Congress.
Yeah, moolah.
It's time to get Congress off the post office's back
It's time
and
to
let it do its job.
It's time to fire the Republican Congress. But with all these religious cultist nuts out there in the Bible Belt red states, most likely they will continue to vote for these Republicans because they are under the spell of this cult. They call that we call counterfeit Christianity. Since they know nothing about the Bible and they are racists and homophobes
And women phobes.
and female phobes and also they are they really do not know what's in the Bible. They make up their own rules.
Yeah.
They're just racist, miserable.
It's called
bastards.
ideology.
Yeah.
It's called myth.
Your buddy Pat,
Mystical.
mysticism. Your buddy Pat Robertson
Oh.
made another stupid comment
Yeah,
recently,
I saw that.
blaming the Boston Marathon bombings. Well, every time there's a tragic catastrophe happening in the United States, it's always
It's
God.
God's punishment because of gay marriage or this sort of stuff or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten the idea that God's not punishing anybody today except the elect.
Hey, when right-wing fundamentalist religious nuts attack abortion clinics, isn't that terrorism?
Yes. But they're doing God's work, they believe. You know?
Hey, dummy, I'm letting you in.
He's in. They believe they're doing God's work, saving all those children.
Uh-huh.
So that when they grow up, the children can be poor, they can't be schooled, they can't have health care, etc., etc., etc. But, hey, we got to save those embryos.
Oh yeah, the fertilized eggs. Gotta save the embryo that breeds like a
fish.
Gotta save them.
Gotta save them,
but if you're already born, if you're not
on your own, pal.
You're on your own. You're no good if unless you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth.
Ah, well, that's good too.
Then you're an aristocratic elitist baby. That's fine.
Because you'll grow up to give us money.
Well, yeah. You rich little bastard. Yeah, you'll grow up to give to grease the palms of the politicians that are on the take. And the parents of that rich little baby will continue to give. So it's, you know, every form of government that was ever invented in the human race eventually became corrupted. You notice that?
Yeah.
They corrupted Karl Marx's original, Communist Manifesto?
Communism, yeah.
They corrupted the original socialist plan. They corrupt, of course, military dictatorships are automatically corrupted. Every form of government, since the beginning of time, eventually became corrupted. I guess it must mean that man is inherently wicked and evil and corrupt. It's human nature.
That's why God allowed him 6,000 years ago his own way. And so he would find out. But guess what? He don't find out. Because he's not aware of his mistakes.
Doesn't see them.
He doesn't call them mistakes.
No.
You know? Blame them on somebody else. This, that, and the other thing. But the point is that man knows not the way to peace.
No, so all this right-wing, flag-waving, Yankee Doodle dandy, God bless America mumbo-jumbo that people hear all the time. I'm so sick of these T-publicans posting all their patriotic crap on the internet with the American bald eagle and the flag and, condemning you if you don't support the war. They're making it sound like you're not supporting our troops, when in reality is you're looking out for the troops' best interest by condemning the wars, which are for profiteering.
War is a racket.
And oil.
General Smedley Butler
said.
War is a racket.
General Smedley Butler. Yes, he did.
That's right.
Look him up.
As our economy recovers from the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression, the story of what led to this economic meltdown is well known. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. People still don't get it. And those are my insights, not part of the reading. Home buyers were persuaded to sign up for risky loans. Greedy brokers pushed clients into high-priced mortgages to reap higher profits. And when the housing market turned, and the banks that owned those loans were teetering on the brink of collapse, the American people were forced to bail them out. Simply stated, there was little to no oversight of our financial markets and the predatory lending the Wall Street banks were engaged in. Congress resolved to never to let a bailout like this happen again, and to protect consumers from these unscrupulous practices. That's why we created the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, established by the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act of 2010. It's the only regulator whose key mission is protecting consumers against financial fraud and abuse. It's only been up and running for a few years, but already the CFPB is showing that it's up to this important task. The Bureau has already won $425 million in refunds for then 6 million Americans who were the victim of deceptive practices by credit card companies. That's more than its entire annual budget. The Bureau has also issued tough new rules for mortgage issuers that will end the types of predatory lending practices that got us into this mess, and has become a clearinghouse for Americans to file complaints about abusive financial practices. The CFPB is fulfilling its mission of protecting consumers from the abuses of Wall Street that destroyed so many lives during the financial crisis. So why is it that as we continue to rebuild our fragile economy, some Republicans in Congress are hell-bent on dismantling this critical agency? Why would they be hell-bent on dismantling it? Because their cronies, their donors, don't like it. That's why Republicans in the Senate have spent the last year filibustering Obama's nominee to head the CFPB, Richard Cordray, an experienced former state attorney general with a long history of protecting individuals against financial abuse. They have pledged, by the way, Elizabeth Warren was really the one who was supposed to head up this organization, but she would have never got by the Republicans.
So what you're trying to say, are you trying to say that Republicans in Washington do not like the existence of consumer protection?
That is correct, sir. They have pledged to block any nominee unless they are allowed to change its structure and its funding mechanism, which ultimately could undermine the Bureau's effectiveness. My colleague, Representative Scott Garrett, uses his subcommittee chairmanship on the Financial Services Committee to tear apart the CFPB. Republicans have passed legislation to make the CFPB less effective, voted to cut its budget, all with the 2008 crisis still fresh on every American's mind. Most recently, the House Republicans supported the repeal of the entire Dodd-Frank law in the latest version of the Ryan budget. It didn't have to be this way. As a member of the Budget Committee, I introduced an amendment to the budget that simply expressed support for the CFPB. It's supposed to be BP. Somebody made a boo-boo. And opposed any attempts to obstruct its important work on behalf of American consumers. It was rejected on a party line vote, with Garrett leading the opposition and several of his Republican colleagues on the committee openly calling for the elimination of funding for the Bureau. Seems to me that Garrett and his colleagues in the House majority are more interested in protecting the banks that defrauded so many hard-working Americans than in protecting Americans from financial fraud and abuse. and preventing another financial crisis. I encourage Garrett and his colleagues to visit our district office in Patterson. See my staff working to assist families who fell victim